What's good, everybody? This is the Role Player Podcast, back with you again, still presented to you by the good folks over at Swish Cultures and EuroHoops.net. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere you get your podcast. Also, follow along on all social media. That's YouTube, IG, TikTok, and Twitter with the handle at Role Player Media, or on Swish Culture's YouTube page, and of course at Swish Cultures on IG as well. I am Jordan Taylor, 11-year pro, EuroLeague vet, still rolling with the multi-talented Stanford gentleman, retired 11-year pro and Swish Culture's co-founder, the one and only Anthony Goods. You looking a little rough this week by your standards. I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe I just think you ugly, though. You ugly. You've been hating lately, so I'm going to just say it. You ugly. You ugly as hell.
Yeah, well, I don't know if your beard need a comb or an iron, but that shit is trash right now.
Hey man,
it is trash.
Man, I got a text message. I got a text message the other day, man, talking about my barber gone for a month, and I almost lost my mind. I don't know what to do. It's ugly. It's ugly over here. I know I'm in London, so it should be easy. I'll figure it out. But
it should be very easy.
No, it's easy. It's easy. But here's the thing. These dudes, some of my teammates talking about they bringing the barber to the house for £100. I ain't Jalen. I can't fold. I can't do it. I don't care how much. I'm not doing it. So I'm going to the shop.
What's that dollars though? What's £100
and die about $120.
$120
for a cut? Ooh. Nah, you better. Nah, Beyonce better be on my body then if you're doing that. But we not doing that, man. But listen, check it out. We got a real special guest for y'all this week, man. Y'all probably remember him from Final Four runs in 2014 and 15. But he's been doing his thing in Europe all throughout his career, as well as some trips in the league and the G League. He's a Spanish Cup winner in 2022, two-time Lithuanian League champion in 2021, a King Mindaugas Cup winner, which is in the Lithuanian League as well. First team All-Big Ten back in college, NBA G League All-Rookie team, and currently doing his thing in the playoffs with Fenerbahce in Istanbul. We got Mr. Nigel Hayes, and also, as you know, Wisconsin alum. What's good with you, man? You was talking about your skin looking good, so if you want to go ahead and talk your shit, go ahead, do your thing, man, if you need to. You know what I'm saying? You got the little dog pound braids over there. I see you.
First thing, I love that you said Nigel Hayes. New name, everyone, Nigel Hayes-Davis. I added Davis. My stepfather's the greatest man I've ever met, and I love when people don't say Davis, so that way I can tell people how wonderful he is. So I wouldn't be here without him. So first and foremost, shout out my mans, Al. Love you, as always. So going forward after that, yeah, life is good over here in Europe. Istanbul now this year. Basketball is great. We're in the playoffs. Tied to series 1-1. Olympiacos is a great place to play a game. That environment was amazing. So it was great to get a win there. Yeah, life's good. I've been traveling a lot this year on off days. It's something I did after last year. Took about 2 weeks off after the season, traveled around Europe. Was about a day and a half, 2 days in different cities, and I thought, like, man, could I do this during season? That sounds ridiculous. Yeah, but you can do it during season. Istanbul flies directly to a lot of cities. So on off days, I've been traveling to different countries. It's been great, actually. The team loves it. I always bring them back a local dessert from the culture.
Really?
So that, yeah. Everywhere I go,
dope.
I bring back dessert from that culture, so that they can try to, like, the whole program too. So like even everyone in the office, from tickets to the head coach, gets to try something, and it's they really enjoy it. At first, it was like, Naj, what'd you do on your off day? And I was like, yeah, I went to Paris. And I was like, what? So yeah. And then the next week we got an off day or something. I was like, yeah, I was in Bulgaria. I'm like, are you really traveling on off days? Yeah. And then now it's just like whenever the off day comes, I'm like, oh, where are we going now? Like, it's a surprise, I don't tell anybody where I'm going. I just show up, bring the dessert. Where is this from? It's great. I recommend it. I don't know if everybody can do that, in season like I do. It's very taxing on the body, I'll tell you that much. Flights are like 4 a.m., and I land at like 7 a.m. I walk all day. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. And then I end up not going to sleep because, I'm trying to see the whole city in a day. Then the next flight's at like 3 a.m., and then I land and I have to go right to practice. So in the span of like 48 hours, I'm going off for like 2 hours of sleep.
Hey.
But it's good, though, because you got memories for life. You got pictures. I always have cool stories. I always meet great people. So it's good. Traveling is the greatest thing that I've recently started doing. Highly recommend.
Does anybody ever recognize you when you go to like a country and they're like, "Yo, what you doing here?"
Yeah. It's crazy because they always, the saying, the world's a small place, and then I always respond, it's even smaller when you travel, because then I'll be in places and it'll be like you already know, Badger fans are everywhere, so there'll be a Badger fan that's like, "What are you doing here?" And they always ask it in a way like, "Why are you here?" And I go, "Why are you here?" Well, you're touring, right? Yeah, me too. It's like, I'm looking to see something, or there'll be people who, like now with Fenerbahce being such a huge club, there are people that recognize, me from that team, which is crazy to be in to be in Marrakesh and to have someone be like, where are you from? I feel like I've seen you before. And then I tell them I play for Fenerbahce. They say, yeah, that's it. And I said, there's no way you know Fenerbahce all the way in Marrakesh. And then they'll pull up something like, yeah, my dad went there in Istanbul and here's a picture. And then I was like, so it's great. It's always great to travel, meet new people, cool stories, fun, souvenirs, everything's great.
Man, there's a lot of places to go. I was in Tokyo last year and ended up in a shisha spot, and the guys that owned it one was a huge Galatasaray fan and one was a huge Fener fan. So he recognized me from Gala, and we just go back and forth all day about Fener and Gala and that whole rivalry. But that's dope, man. That's like not too many people doing that. Like you said before we got on air, you can't hide money for one. So yeah, not everybody got, what I'm saying? You can't, not everybody got their pockets. But
actually, what's funny? What's funny is I've been asking the guys. So this is not a shot at anybody in their lifestyle, but I don't drink alcohol. I never have, and I don't go out. And I was asking the guys, not to be pocket watching, but just out of curiosity to see what I'm spending when I travel. And so what does it cost for a night out? And you two as athletes, what a night out involves. So you go there, there's, a section, you have bottles, you have the boys. If there's a hookah there, some guys do that. You bring out that. And then when you get that bill at the end of the night, it's always would you guys say in your $1,000 to $2,000, no?
Yeah.
Right. So it cost me $500 to do all that traveling.
Yeah.
So if your vice, let's call it a vice, or your mental escape from basketball and life is to a night out, that's $1,000 to $2,000. Mine is to go see Alexandria in Egypt and tour, and that cost me $500.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper than going out, no?
Yeah, sounds like it. You splitting it up. You splitting it up though when you go out too. I'm not spending no $1,000 when I go out, but you know what I'm saying.
I mean, occasionally you might though, but this is the way I equate it though. All right, so if you buying a flight, let's say your flight runs you last minute, your flight runs you $300-400. Then
that's really where all the money comes from though.
And then the hotel though.
See, so with the hotels, because I use lock in with me, guys. So get you a credit card. Because the world works stupidly on credit. So they want you to be in debt. Being in debt and owing money is a sign that you have money, weird as it is. Because having cash doesn't get you anything. So owing money and showing that you always can just have debt and pay it off gives me, points. So I use my credit card. I get my points. And then my points convert to 3 times that into hotels. So my hotel stays end up being free because of my points from my credit card. My Chase points. Yeah. So I buy the flight that's $300 last minute, and I get a free hotel. Then after that is just
food.
And usually in countries I go to, like not all of the world, I'm not going to always European Union countries. So the dollar to their country currency is always really, for example, a dinner might cost you $100. It'll be $10 for the same food and meal. Right. So the expenses I'm spending there, are 1/10 of that. So it probably rounds out. To about $500 to $600 for a trip.
Are you are you going to the nice restaurants, or are you just going to anywhere? Where are you going for food? Are you asking questions? You know what I'm saying?
No. Well, one, I hate to be this person. I'm vegan, and I'm sorry I had to say it. I don't want to be that vegan that tells people they're vegan. Please don't think of it as that. But being that, it makes it easy to eat because all the restaurants they recommend you got to go to this 7-star restaurant with the $900 steak. I'm I don't eat that. So all my food is on the way while I'm touring. So I'll have a tour guide, and Like the currency exchange rate would be like $20 for this tour guide for like 6 hours. So like as we're walking around, they'll go, "You want to stop and eat?" And I said, "No, I eat on the go." So like I'll just get something out of a restaurant and like it'll be like $4, and then we'll just keep walking. And I'm trying to see literally as much as I can. So like I don't even eat dinners. And at the end of the night, when everything's closing this night, like I'll go to like either like you said, this was a place with a nice view or something like that, or I'll just go to a little vegan restaurant, sit there, have dinner with myself, call my mom, tell her where I'm at. She's like, "Where are you now?" Like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm here." Look at this language. I can't even read it, but we having fun. You know?
What's
It's a good
the
life.
best place you've been? My bad. What's the best place you've been?
London was great. That was in the summer. Paris was just nice to see all of the like you see Paris a lot in terms of like its touristic sites and what it has to offer. So it was cool to be able to see like the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower and all that actually in person. Finally, um, that was good. Marrakesh was actually really nice as well. It was nice to see all of that, and it was like a very completely different world. You know, like it just seemed like you were in just a whole another place. So those three really stand out.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what's it like hooping as vegan? I did it during 2 of my seasons. I went vegan like cold turkey one year too, but
That's
I'm
why I started.
interested. I'm interested to hear what was your vegan transition and how has it been hooping as a vegan?
Mine was cold turkey as well. Like one day I was after college. You know in college, Jordan, how they had us lifting, right? Like Big Ten is basically the second football
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Basically what it is. So the way we lift is probably we was lifting 6 times a week. So I was really like big and like heavy. So I was trying to figure out how to lose weight. I was just on Google. This is summer league with the Knicks in Orlando, and I was like blah 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 blah. I said something about vegan, and the next day, like I went to the restaurant the day before, had a chicken wrap sandwich, and I went back the next morning and got the vegan wrap, and it's been great ever since. You know, I feel like I don't know scientifically if I'm better or if I'm just telling myself that I'm better, and like my mind
Placebo
is like
type thing.
making
Yeah.
yeah, like I really don't know. So like that's what I tell people is like I feel my body's healthy. Like, I always feel good. My body always recovers fast. During games, I feel that's kind of like the advantage I give myself. I was telling the guys this year, plants don't get tired because I've been playing lately the end of the season in the playoffs like 38, 40 minutes. So like I just feel like, I have the energy, I have the stamina. Like I rarely sleep. Like I can barely sleep. I never need an alarm clock to wake up. Like I feel like all that stuff is just attributed to like, the diet and, not having a lot of excess junk food and death food in you. But again, I don't care what people eat. I'm not that vegan. I don't care. I don't want anybody else to be vegan. Eat whatever you want. This is what works for me.
No,
Yeah.
I think you're right, man. I think when drink like just simply whatever you eat, I think drinking water for me, drinking water is I feel amazing. If I just cut out, I might eat healthy-ish, but I just drink water and I don't need an alarm clock. I feel amazing. My skin, I ain't been drinking enough water. You see what I'm saying? But that does it for me. So it is interesting to see what actually works and or if it's just a mental thing or not. I don't know what you think, Goods, but
Nah, I mean, when I went vegan, I literally watched the video at night and I was like, oh, I'm going to try this shit tomorrow. And I just started the next day. And I remember I lost a gang of weight because I didn't know what I liked. And, we were practicing twice a day and all that. But I remember during one game, I was like, yo, I came back to the bench and I was like, I got so much energy, bro. Like, I never felt that way before. And then I remember I'm an asthmatic despite being beautiful and having the body of a Greek god. I'm an asthmatic, right? So I always have to hit the the pump before practice. One day I left my pump at the crib, and I went through a whole practice without hitting the pump. And I didn't think I was going to be able to do that because I could never do it before. But that was another thing that I saw when I was vegan, just my ability to breathe and everything else. So I can only imagine what it's like for people without complications. But yeah, it was cool. Aside from losing so much weight,
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm an asthmatic too, so I might have to check that out, man. But man, Nigel, you turning this into a health and travel podcast, man. So we appreciate you dropping all the knowledge. We ain't gonna get into the fact that it's a Wisconsin man in here dropping all this knowledge, and he lighting up your world right now. You know what I'm saying? We got a long running rivalry between Wisconsin and Stanford. So I'm glad to see.
This is not a rivalry.
I know it's not a rivalry. We a better school.
It's really
no, I know,
not.
because
Really
we a better school.
It's not a rivalry.
The rivalry between me and you, we a better
basketball.
school.
Y'all better at basketball. Let's
Football.
not even say school.
Football.
Just say we're better at basketball.
Football.
We're better. Depending on what decade.
No. Football.
Depending on what decade.
No. Y'all,
Well, we had
Andrew
Luck.
Luck.
We had A Luck and all. We had a little pocket where.
Where what? You had one. You had two good players.
We had Gerhardt, runner-up Heisman Trophy.
He poop.
All right.
We had the Heisman Trophy.
Continue.
Did Monty win? Did Monty win the Heisman Trophy?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Anyway, man, let's get into it, man.
It was Ron Dane, wasn't it?
Ron Dane won it, but Monty's the all-time leader in touchdowns in college football history. Monty Ball.
Is he really?
Yeah, something crazy. So, but we not even gonna get it. We had Russell Wilson. But anyway, man, let's get into the hoop, man. Let's go all around the world, man. You talked about how you move all around the world. But I hate that, if you want to plead the fifth on this, we got to touch on it because of the nature of our podcast. We got to touch on this brawl in Madrid, man. Obviously, Gershon Yabusele 5 games. Was Kevin Punter 2 games. Matthias Lazort got a game. Deck got a game. And I forget who else. But I guess the first question I would have for you, Nigel, is recount some of the craziest stories, whether it's open gym, some of the craziest fights you've been a part of. If you think those suspensions were fair, if you don't want to touch on it because you're in the playoff, feel free to plead the fifth.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I always talk to the guys about, we're on podcasts. Y'all watch Tangent. Y'all watch Supreme Dreams, our RDC World, the guy who be making all those like J. Cole, LeBron videos or the anime videos. And I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
They have a video where they talk about how people be trying to get you caught up on podcasts to get you canceled.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. So I'm trying to focus and stay in the clear. So to get back to you, what you said, my good brother. The fight was obviously very unfortunate for something to end that way. Obviously, guys were heated, primarily on the Madrid side of the score. It's really sad, unfortunate that Dante got injured. I don't know how severe it is. I know, of course, guys feel bad for what they did, a lack of judgment in those moments. Something happened similar to that not to bring it up, I won't, whatever, but in the Milan game, something happened like that where I was involved, and it didn't escalate to what it was, but I ended up responding very well to it. I think I had like 16 after that straight, something crazy, to go ahead and win the game, but as far as the punishments go, again, EuroLeague might be watching me, so I think what they did was the right thing.
Looking for the bugs. Room tapped.
I mean, I'm sure both sides will say that it's unfair. Of course, that's what you would expect, but just hopefully, something that doesn't happen again. That's very dangerous the way it escalated. Don't want anything to ever turn into like a malice at the palace. And especially it's even worse because in Europe, fans are crazy. Like actually, European fans are crazy in the good way and in the bad way, because you could only imagine if that would have happened in Belgrade.
Yeah.
Oh,
It might. It might.
But that's how you know how crazy that is. Like literally after that happened, you could just hear every basketball player and every European basketball fan go, "Oh, when y'all go to Belgrade, it's not going to be good." Yeah. Like as a collective, that was after everybody was like, "Wow, that's crazy." The next thought was, when y'all go to Belgrade, it's going to be, you might need the National Guard for that plane from Madrid to land.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just hopefully nothing like that happens again. But I haven't had any crazy stories or anything crazy, especially that crazy. No.
Good, what you got?
I mean, on court, most fights don't really get past like a punch or two. I've never seen anything as far as like an all-out brawl. I think the craziest thing I've seen, when I was in Cholet, I think we were playing against Partizan, or it was one of the Eastern European teams.
Starting to sound like a common thing.
But it was like this player was mad at the ref, and he literally sprint from like three-quarter court, and he ran up to the ref and he like got in his face. He said something, and then he chest bumped him, but like hella hard. And that was like the craziest thing I've seen. Like, but nah, I mean off the court, yeah. Like we were in Cholet that same year. We had a fight like all the Americans and these French dudes in the club and shit. I fractured my hand and shit. It was wild.
That's why
in the club.
That's
See, that's why you need to be traveling on your off day.
After the club, hey, listen. Oh, hold on. Time out. I ain't even gonna get too much into the detail, but a Wisconsin brother was on my team that started the whole joint. And yeah, it was an interesting.
Wisconsin brother or Wisconsin white man? White man.
It take 2 seconds to
That's
figure
what I'm
out.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It ain't one of us, so it's down to the other three. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's only 3 more people you can choose from.
Hey man, that's why. Hey, look, that's why I don't fool with y'all, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't step out with nobody from Wisconsin no more.
You
man.
might as
Y'all
well
be
go
getting me
ahead.
in
You
trouble.
might as well go ahead and just say the name now, man. You might as well go ahead.
My dog Trey Hughes,
I
man.
already knew, man. That pop, man. I already knew. I already.
Dog Trey, man, got the whole team in trouble, man. We all, we held it down, but it was crazy, man. Like, because one of the French dudes got his teeth knocked out. We kicked his teeth out, and like 3 months later.
People,
Oh yeah, let me not say names.
I know that.
Oh man,
The dangers of podcasting. I told you the dangers
there you go.
of
statute
There
of
you
limitations, brother. You good?
Yeah, but nah, it was crazy. They took us to the police station and shit. It was unnecessary.
Man, I already pop. If it tells you anything, that was my old head in college too. So that's who took me under his wing, man. So that tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know.
It all makes sense now. It all makes sense.
Man, the craziest thing I've seen was in Israel. It wasn't even that crazy, but kind of. 2 players got into it on the court, and some of the fans in Israel tried to start fighting with the player's wife when we was in Holon, like wife and kid. And I was like, yo, y'all. So then the fight kind of.
I heard about that.
The fight kind of went into the stands, like, because obviously he's protecting his family at that point. So, and I ain't gonna involve names with family like that. So, but that was one of the crazier things that I've seen, man. But as far as the whole situation and the punishment, because Nigel's pleading the fifth, rightfully so, and understandably, I think it's crazy. EuroLeague got an answer for Sergio Llull not getting a suspension. That's out of pocket. Like, that don't even...
I will say this, though. Sergio didn't do anything to deserve a suspension. I only say that because he just made a hard foul, which during the context of the game is unsportsmanlike, and you shoot free throws. What happened after that?
That's what
you can't blame him for that.
Yeah, you can. In my opinion, like, I hear what you're saying, but because of the result of that foul, I think he got to be suspended. Like, I think this
is why I think he should get suspended, is because that team has to go. If you're EuroLeague and you're trying to control the Partizan crowd, you remove everybody that was involved for that fight, for that first game. Because now it's like Partizan's crazy. They lost their best players, et cetera, et cetera. The fans are still going to be there. But Sergio, who in everybody's eyes started the fight, is going to be in Belgrade. So now the fans are like, okay, if nobody's there, they're not going to take it out on Anthony Randolph and them other guys, right? But you got somebody that, and he was the one that started the whole situation. So it's like, I think now, and I'm going to the game in Belgrade, so I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it, but you know what I mean? I think it's just going to cause a crazier environment when Sergio steps on the floor.
Not just that, but I also say that foul would have not just been free throws. He probably would have got an ejection for that too, right?
You think so?
For that one? You don't think you got an ejection for that?
No, that's just an
he clothesline, my man. Like, that's got to be an ejection. That was OD.
I don't think it hit him in the face, though. It hit him across the chest.
Yeah,
no, it was across the body.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
across
still,
the body,
just a hard, like,
I know, I understand, but
very unnecessary, of course. But it was just it was just an unsportsmanlike foul. No,
see, to me, maybe, but to me, the intent should have warranted an ejection from the game, because it wasn't even a basketball play. Like, it's or unsportsmanlike is generally like at least somewhat basketball like.
Yeah,
it's not that he swung on dude and he hit him in the chest. Yeah, okay. And then obviously everything happened. So for me, you gotta be at least ejected from the game for that. And because the game got suspended, Like, there's really no ejection. So to me, that should be the punishment, is the 1 game.
I think considering time and situation, like, yeah, it probably does deserve an ejection. But, like, in regards to just looking at the scope of a basketball game and the foul that happened, I don't think that necessarily warrants an ejection. But, yeah, it's unfortunate. But I think this is what I told the homie. I said Sergio started it. I don't think punter did anything wrong. I think Dante Exum escalated it because he came over there and he pushed Sergio. Deck grabbed him, and then Yabusele went in and, you know, started to react from there. And, like, you know, and I think even with Gershon, like, as messed up as it was, I mean, I can only imagine as everything is just happening so fast, I feel like he reacted. You know, he's seen Dante do something aggressive. It kind of looked like a push. It probably could have looked like a punch from the other end, and then he just reacted, and obviously he's hella strong and, you know, everything else that happened after that. But I mean, it is an unfortunate situation, but it just got out of control.
No, I think Dante did the right thing. Dante, my guy, bro. Dante, my guy. I'm on his side.
Hey, G's a friend of the pod too. We had him on the pod a couple weeks ago, man. So I think everybody was warranted in the reaction after, except for Sergio Llull. Like, that was crazy. Everybody else was warranted up until the point that G thought he was Hulk Hogan.
So it sounds like in your mind, the only one that should have gotten in trouble was Sergio.
No. I'm saying that everybody should have got in trouble. I think everybody's reaction was justified, and I think some people like G. I'm doing the same thing. If I see someone, you know, go at my teammate, I'm rushing them. Like, I probably wouldn't, like I said, suplex an individual. I don't know if I have that strength.
You ain't that strong, though. You ain't that strong.
I got a low center of gravity, my boy. You don't know what I got in my bag.
You got them little arms.
Yeah,
so you
got
exactly.
arms. Exactly.
I don't think you can get it around.
That's why you don't know what's gonna happen. I got them short ass arms. Anything can happen, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? I got a low center of gravity, short arms, and bad balance. So you don't know what could have happened. But so I think, like I said, everything was warranted, and obviously things were taken overboard. So the only thing that was unwarranted was Sergio Llull. That was crazy. Like, you look like a little kid. You mad that somebody playing with you, and you just threw a temper tantrum. Like, that was
and then
crazy.
He just walked away and picked up the basketball. Like, yo, what's going on over here?
Right. Yeah. Right.
I didn't even. How many times did you watch the video? Because I didn't see that.
No, run the video back. You go see Sergio. Like, everybody start getting in the scuffle. He walks all the way around the scuffle, back to like half court, picks up the basketball, is just looking, and then just starts walking towards the bench. Man. Like, yo, why y'all wild?
Right. Yeah. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, y'all the problem.
Yeah. like, yo, y'all good?
Between Lesort, you know, clotheslining Musa and all that, like, there was too much going on not to watch that video at least 6-7 times, because after like 4, it was just comedy. You know what I mean?
Yo, we finally got some NBA drama in EuroLeague, man. You know, on the brighter side. People in the States was hitting me about it. That's when I was like, yo, like, it's finally we got some action crossing the waters.
That's not the attention the EuroLeague wants.
No, definitely not. You definitely don't want that attention.
Not the attention.
Any publicity is good publicity, man. Like, that's not I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been. Huh?
So you starting to sound like a dangerous man.
I'm just saying, from a league standpoint, like for EuroLeague, and they trying to make the strides that they trying to make, I really believe that, because I think this is going to be like the most. I've never been more excited to watch a EuroLeague game. Like, I'm gonna sit down and watch this game and see the fan reaction, 100%. Like, and these 2 games.
Yeah, but you looking for drama though. You ain't even looking for basketball.
Man, people don't watch basketball.
No one's watching this game now. No one's watching this game for basketball.
Do people watch basketball at all for basketball anymore?
Yes.
Do they? Like, be for real, because like if you
to watch the players, you're watching the players play basketball. Certain players play basketball.
I feel like a lot of time it's the drama of, because now, like, if you watch, say, like an ESPN studio show, and like the narrative is always like, oh, he did this on this dude. Like, it's the drama of, and it's really like, realistically, the dude might have 30, and he probably had 4. Like, Steph had 7 points on De'Aaron Fox, but the narrative is, oh, he had 30 on De'Aaron Fox. Well, no, because clearly you wasn't watching the game. Like, you just want to tell the story about these 2 dudes going at it, which at the end of the day is just drama.
Yeah.
No, but you talking about a whole different level of drama that's going to be expected in this game. Yeah. Like you talking about a game where you might need the National Guard of Serbia to be
Yo,
the arena,
I'm gonna be there 2 hours early. I'm gonna be there 2 hours
and you
early.
probably still won't get in until tip off. They're gonna be there 4 hours
It's gonna be
early.
crazy.
But I'm still watching the game, not for like necessarily the drama, but the intensity of the game. Because the intensity of that game is going to be OD. And to be honest, like the storyline, does Partizan even want to win the game? Like Partizan doesn't.
That's also a very that's
what I say. I
very
say
crazy
Partizan
thing.
loses this game and they try to win games 4 and 5.
But game four, you mean? It's 2-0.
Punter is out for 2 games.
Yeah, he's out for
So-
2 games. But I'm saying you try to win game 4, you try to win game, and if you can't win game 4, you try to win game 5 with Punter.
So now you playing with fire because Tavares is coming back, and you talking about trying to win pretty essentially a 1-game playoff at the crib without punter. Again, Tavares is coming back, and if you don't win that game, I don't know if they winning in Madrid after that. You are asking a lot to win 3 games in Madrid.
You playing with fire, right?
You are playing with fire, but do you really want to go to a Final Four without Punter?
Right. So that to me, that's where the drama of the game is. Like that's the drama I'm talking about.
I feel like you have to take the risk. I feel like you have to take the risk, bro. Like, I mean, because you really risk probably.
You should take the risk. You're right, because they've shown on court that we are capable of beating this team when we have our full team.
Yeah.
So to risk losing one and go, all right, guys, y'all done it twice. The gang back together. Just do it one more time.
Hey, listen, I'm resting. If Exum is available, I'm resting him game 3. I'm suiting him up for game 4. And I'm coming out and I'm trying to win game 4. I mean, the atmosphere is still going to be nuts because Partizan knows this is the last home game. Like, you still going to have that, with you. And, and I think that Partizan is just a bad matchup for Real Madrid. You got bigs, guard, like, you know what I'm saying? The bigs are mobile. I think it's just a bad matchup. Like, when I was watching game 1, like, Lesor, he's so quick and mobile. Like, Tavares is trying to box out, but, like, Lesor's just slipping off to the offensive rebound on the other end and getting the fingertip.
He's amazing at his job.
Yeah, so I think that – and then you got Smailagic, and he's stretching the floor. When he's hitting jumpers, it's over.
Stretch fives are kryptonite for Madrid.
Yeah, you play Tavares off the floor. He gets played off the floor, and then they had to go small in the fourth quarter.
Listen, you take punter out of that equation. That's a big part of that equation.
Oh, 100%.
That's a big part of that equation. So it's going to be real interesting, man, to see what happens. And essentially, like the nerves of having your season boil down to a 1 game at home, like. Because once you get back,
it's the drama we want. It's the drama we want.
You see, you feel me? You see?
It's the. But look, going back to the suspensions, I just noticed this shit today. It's kind of funny. After all the madness that happened with Real Madrid, everybody played today in Spain. Like Yabusele, Deck, like everybody. You would think, like after a fight like that, like there would be some kind of fine, disciplinary action, whatever it is, with any team, right?
2 separate leagues, man.
Nah, it's 2 separate leagues, but I'm saying within the team, like you would imagine. They would do something, but I mean, they all suited up.
That's funny though that they.
Yeah, I'm talking about like nothing happened.
Like nothing happened.
Like nothing happened. Like y'all stay in shape. Get your cardio.
Man, all that, man. But listen, man, let's talk about you, Nigel Hayes-Davis, man. Let's get into a little bit of your story, man. Obviously, a couple Final Fours at Wisconsin, a couple Sweet 16s, plenty of all Big Tens, crazy career in college, right? I kind of want to start. We're in the all around the world. We're going to get to the inside the L section, but one of the questions I got for you is just talk about kind of you seem to have such a strong or a positive outlook when it comes to basketball, which helps your game, I would assume. Just talk about, you was could have been a first round pick after your sophomore year. You decided to stay, obviously spend some time in the league, end up in Europe. Talk about what's helped you with your grind in Europe, being in Barcelona, maybe with a coach who maybe not the best for your style or whatever it was. So just talk about how you've maneuvered through Europe or whatever it is and how you got to where you're at.
Yeah, coming out sophomore year, man, that is one of those moments in life. If someone gives you a chance to go, you get one do-over any moment in your life. That is one. I don't know if I would do it because, everything happens for a reason. And, the people I've met probably would have never met if I would have taken that action. But that is one. If you could get a chance to pop in a DVD and just see what life would be like if you would have made this decision, I would be very interested to see how that happens. But we're here, so we did 4 years, graduated, something mother always wanted, so I was able to do that. Because I heard it's very hard to go back to school once you leave school.
It's over, dead.
That determination and drive ain't there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's good. So came out undrafted, and I would say the biggest part of adjusting to me, and I don't know if you can attest, maybe different for you, but the Wisconsin basketball culture doesn't translate to professional basketball. Kind of does more or less to Europe. In EuroLeague, I'm sure you can understand the similarities with the 3 seconds and then the style of play. But even then, like, it's still more of the ball screens and up and down, more transition, more like creating your own shot. Like in college, it wasn't an emphasis on creating a shot. It was an emphasis on like, don't take a good shot, don't take an okay shot. Like if you don't have a great wide open shot, you better not be shooting the ball. And like you can't play like that in professional basketball. Speaking American NBA in Europe, like you can't, every possession, you're not going to get the greatest, most open shot. Like sometimes a good shot is sometimes a contested shot, because teams play good defense. So that's why, guys work on their game. That's why guys are skilled. And that was something I needed to work on, because my boys, Jordan Hill, Jordan, and Nate DuPont he was a manager when I was in college, and now we have this little group chat. But after my last game, they literally just sent me those same exact texts, and they was like, it's finally like good to see how far I've come from like when I first started professional basketball, and like now I'm like shooting shots that are like, it's like, ooh, damn, Nigel, you gonna shoot that one? Like that was my first, and my family, friends, my mom especially has always been like, you gotta let go of like that, and I think this year is finally like, especially with coach being able to like finally go, you just gotta shoot shots, play basketball, and like make stuff happen, And I think that was one of the things that's what I've learned the most from being over here. I went to Galatasaray, Ertuğrul. That's my guy. He's in Poland now coaching, but he was the one who really helped me start on closeouts. So for those who don't know, I mean, this is a hoop podcast, but for anyone who doesn't, swing the ball, been able to catch and go. And guys I've watched like that is Mikal Bridges is fantastic at that, especially when he was in Phoenix. He was fantastic at catching the ball and getting downhill, being in closeouts, being able to shoot, drive, or, like being able to have those decisions. Because like I said, in Wisconsin, there wasn't that. It was you catch the ball and it's like triple threat. What's going on? Let's look. And wide open, shoot the ball. So like to get out of that, that training, that conditioning that you've been in, takes some time. And then to go with Sharps my first year in Žalgiris, it was more of him being a great teacher of basketball. So I learned a lot of basketball. And then my second year in Žalgiris with Schiller helped me even more with catch and goes. So I learned closeout attacks. So not just standing there and shooting, wide open shots, but being able to read those. Then I learned basketball. Then my third year, I learned how to catch and go. I learned from Schiller, again, the 45 slot cut, which is amazing. And again, Bridges, Vezenkov from Olympiacos is amazing. Like I've watched him the last 2 years of my career, trying to watch and figure out how he does that, because he's amazing at moving without the ball. And so there was another guy, I can't remember his name now in the NBA. He played with the Brewer, Corey Brewer, yes. Corey Brewer also in the league, fantastic at cutting. So like my third year over here, I learned how to do 45 cuts. I learned how to do baseline cuts, and then like not just literally doing it, but reading the offense and being able to see like when I should do this. And then I went to Barcelona the next year, and then I played the three. So then I became 3 and D, and that's what I was on that role in the team. We had so much talent on that team. So like again, back with Shars, again my second stint, just learning from him. The best thing I learned from him that year was learning how to be focused and concentrated for a full game. Like his ability to be focused, locked in, and concentrated is top percent for sure. I was just telling someone else the other day that like I pride myself on being a good defender. I think people look at me as that, but I'll be guarding the other team's best player, and I'll be doing a great job, and they'll be having no points. We get to the third quarter, and it's a right-handed driver, and the scouting report is send him left. He goes right one time after I've done 100 great possessions, and Charis is over there yelling at me like I've been getting cooked for 50. But like in his mind, he's like, do what you're supposed to do every single time until the job is done. And then when it's done, you're done. So like that level of focus to be locked in for 40 minutes is like really, really what I learned that year. And I became a much better defender because he put me in that role as like, you're going to be our defender, guard the other team's best players, whether it's a 4-man, 3-man point guards. So like I really locked into that role, and it forced me to study guys like I listen to stories like Patrick Beverley and PJ Tucker, how they approached defending, and Marcus Smart watching like how does Marcus Smart in the interview was talking about how he goes for steals. And then Pat Beverley one time was talking about how he reads plays on offense. So that forced me to like lock in on synergy, and I'm looking at guys. So like when I'm playing guys, I'm like, I know exactly what you're going to do before you do it. I already know what your play is. So like I've learned how to I try to tell guys that like the best way to be a defender for me is to know your opponent. It's like the art of war. Like if you know yourself, know your opponent, you need not fear, 1,000 battles. Like I know what you're going to do. I know your play, so I can take you out of your play. And like for me, that's how I don't even have to guard people sometimes, because like if you do your work early and I know you're about to come off this screen, if I deny you off this screen and I work hard for 2 seconds, I'm done. The ball has to go somewhere else because it blew up the whole play. And then this year was Woody Tudis was just taking all of that, and he's like, I see you're a basketball player. You've learned a lot. Now go do it. And then this year is like the culmination of all of those previous 4 years. Now I'm just going out there, just everything I've learned, trusted offense, defense, off the court, blah, 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 blah. Just go hoop. And that's kind of what this is a product of now.
So jumping inside the L, I guess bringing it full circle. Obviously, you're an established EuroLeague player on a playoff team doing your thing. Is there anybody now that you watch in the NBA? Do you still have hopes to get back to the NBA? But is there anybody, first of all, that you watch and they're like, all right, that's where I fit in, having built up your game the way you have?
So when Mikal was when Bridges was with the Suns, like I really he just did a really great job of being able to play off the ball, being able to play in space, being able to catch and go. Again, PJ Tucker, the way he defends, the approach he takes with that, because again, now being a defender, being able to have that responsibility and being able to make shots, that's something I watch. Daniel House is another guy who has a similar role. So I just try to watch, all those guys and see how they play. And then, like I said, in EuroLeague, Vezenkov, I've been watching him for the past 2 years, trying to figure out how because he's amazing. I know people are probably thinking it's weird that I'm talking about an opponent like that, and it probably goes against the competition. You're supposed to hate whatever, but you have to learn, and that's how I got better. Is learning. So watching him and figuring out all right, how does he score 26 points and he took 3 dribbles? How the hell did he do that? So then I'm watching him, and I'm watching how he cuts, how he plays off the ball, how he plays when the guy catches the post, how he plays when the pick and roll is going on that side, and there's another corner, so he's on the 2-man side. How does he cut? Well, now it's 3 of them on this side, and he's in the corner. What does he do? Watching all of that and just trying to figure out how to put that in my game. And as far as going back to the NBA, of course it'd be great, to be home. For us, America's home. So going back home would always be great to play in front of family and friends. Trying to get my mother out here to a game, to come get family out here. My mother hasn't watched me play in person in years since I've been over here. She hates flying. And, my stepfather, greatest man ever, he would rather drive to Europe than to fly. So he hates flying even more. So, be able to play in front of them would be amazing. But I'm just trying to, the goal is just to try to be where your feet are and enjoy life every day. And that's kind of, again, I credit that to the year I've been having is I haven't like the whole year, I wasn't worried about NBA. I wasn't worried about signing my next contract in Europe. I wasn't worried about anything. The only thing I focused on was, did I get better today? And where can I travel to next? And that's literally the only two things I was thinking of. And I think that's what helped me. And that's still, even now that I've like signed my contract, I still am just in this mode of, am I getting better today? Am I preparing myself for the next game? And when is our next off day so I can travel? Like, where can I go next? That's really my only focus has been this year.
What's your motivation, I guess, to stay? Because again, you talk about like game plan discipline. So like, what's your motivation to stay disciplined in that mental approach? If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, because obviously it's easy to say, where am I traveling to next? Did I get better today? But obviously, your mind probably wonders. Maybe you're tired, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? So what's your discipline to stay, or your approach to stay in that discipline?
Just watching the greats in the sport you have before you, watching the people I've been able to be around, listen to, and talk to. Like, obviously, and it's like a broken record because it's true. Like the stuff Kobe says, the stuff other professionals say. Kobe talked about the days you don't want to work out is the days you really need to work out, and doing what you need to do to prepare yourself. Taking pride in my conditioning, and that's why, again, like I pride myself on working. Like in practice, coach tries to sub me out, and it's all like I literally have like 10 or 15 like clips in my head of when something happens, and I like go to in my mind and I push play, and like I watch what this athlete said, and this is how they did it with their life. So in practice, coach would try to take me out, and then the clip I play is Ocho Cinco was talking to in the what's that called? In the two-a-days that they do, remember that on HBO? The two-a-days in the NFL that they do, the training camp. So, Ocho Cinco was always talking shit, and he's telling his coach, like, I can't be great and I can't talk shit if you don't let me get my reps in practice. Like, I need my reps. So in practice, when coach is taking me out, he's like, what's wrong with you? And everybody's like, Naj, you already played 40 minutes. Like, why are you complaining? And I go, but that's why I need to practice, because I need to be prepared to play 40 minutes. I can't sit out of practice, and then you want me to be in the game to be able to give 40 minutes and give a great 40 minutes. Or when we're working out, we'll have had a hard game, 40 minutes, and I tell the guys, I always go like 2 hours before practice to do my routine. And everybody's like, aren't you tired? I was like, well, yeah, and you just had a good game. Why are you coming in? I was like, if I have a good game or bad game, I do the same routine. And Bobby Portis just gave a great interview about that. I don't know if you saw that one, where he talked about Giannis and Chris Middleton, how when he got to a certain level, he started watching them too, and they have a routine. Whether they have a great game, a bad game, a good day, a bad day, they come in and do the same thing. So that's a clip I've added. I remember in college when the Mavs came to Madison to play the Bucks, and Dirk was still there. And after shoot-around, Dirk went through this routine, and he signed his jersey for me, and it's in my I got it. So thanks, Dirk, again. But Dirk, the assistant coaches were saying Dirk has done the same post shoot-around routine for 20 years. He does the same thing every time. So, like, for me, that was something that I also was like, okay, Dirk, same thing every time. Do your routine. Work out when you don't feel like it. Eric Thomas has a clip in my head where, like, I'm doing something. I go, like, you're already tired. You might as well get your reward for it. So, like, I'm already hurt. You're already in pain. You might as well just finish it and get the reward from it. Because you already went through it. Might as well finish it. So, like, I have, like I said, 10 to 15, like, just YouTube clips of Rolodex of, like, whenever I encounter moments and there's a person, an athlete, a speaker that says something that, like, I use, I push play, and then I'm able to, like, go through it from there.
That's dope. You got your little mental vault, man. But I guess that question leads us into the culture question. Having these habits and these routines as the end of the season approaches, I guess, what do your off-season preparations look like now versus when you were younger?
Oh, when you was younger, it was just like, oh, gosh, we got to get in the gym so much. And it's the same now, is that it's just getting in the gym with a purpose, taking more rest. When I was my first year, I finished my first year with Sacramento, and Vince Carter was on the team. And I remember I was like, oh, I'm going to take a day off and get back in the gym. And then Vince Carter was like, young fella, take 3 weeks off. And I said, 3 weeks of no basketball? Are you insane? And then, like, when you're young and you're like, 3 weeks, what are you talking about? But then you also think back, you're talking to Vince Carter, Hall of Famer, and he was like 40. So it's kind of like I think he knows what he's talking about. So like taking time off to heal your body, and then also another clip. So then now you get me my postseason mind. I have another Rolodex of clips. One of the things talked about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said in the offseason, it wasn't so much of on the basketball court. It was that he always stayed in shape and he always took care of his body. So it was yoga, pool workouts. And I think, again, that's something I did. So this summer, I did a lot of water aerobics instead of like weight room and on the court. And again, I don't know if it helped my body or if it's just a mental placebo, but this summer I did a lot of water aerobics. So it was me and like 9 80-year-olds in a pool doing water aerobics. They're just every day coming in, talking about grandkids and family trips and all that. And I'm in the pool and like we're doing exercises and they're doing the reps and I'm grinding, trying to do the difficult level. And like, I just felt it took care of my body. And that's something, again, like Kareem mentioned, of always stay in shape. You don't have to always be on the court killing your joints, but, yoga, stretching, water aerobic, stuff like that, Pilates, like taking care of your body and staying in shape. But I think that's more the focus now and then trying to add something little. So like this summer, I already know like the next thing I can add is just shooting. I just need to be able to score more off the dribble, being able to create my shot more. So this year has been a lot of cuts, a lot of posting, a lot of spot shooting, and now the next progression would be off the ball scoring, and then more pick and roll. So as the season's going on, coaches started, and in games I've been playing off, a few here and there pick and rolls. But for example, in the summer, I can already see like my next focus and progression is to start working on that. So now it's just more of to answer that question more, concisely, is just now I know what I have and I know the next piece that I want to add. So that becomes the focus rather than just, let's just get in the gym and go crazy and see what happens. Now it's more strategic.
I feel like, on a year-to-year basis, you as you're approaching the off season, you have different things that you want to work on. And I also think too, when you get older, you kind of get a lot more stubborn too. Like, oh, I'm never going to do this. I'm not that guy. Like, I'm not working on that. As you start to get into the gym in the summer. But I remember one year I was the same way. I felt like at the end of the season, like I just couldn't, I was missing every pull-up that I took. And then I remember that season, I was like, I know I could catch and shoot, but I'm shooting everything off the dribble. And I just repped out so many more shots off the dribble. And then the next year, I probably had my best season shooting the ball. But, I think that, it's really important for players to kind of sit down and be realistic and then be efficient with your time during the off season. Because, a lot of guys could be sitting here. Maybe you're not going to be that pick and roll player next year if you know where you're going. And you're doing all these pick and roll reps when, maybe you do need to be working on spot shooting from the corner or, or maybe playing off of closeouts and things of that nature. But I think that it's hard for some players to kind of really look at their game from, a realistic perspective and then carry that out into, the summer. And but I think I think
part of that too is some guys just don't know where they're going, so it's also hard to kind of map out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like you said.
Right.
Yeah, like you said.
That's what I'm saying too.
I think you spot on with that.
But the hard part, I think, even more for European guys, is that the off season is so damn short. That
3 weeks is the off season.
You just be ready. 3 weeks is damn off season. You like, I just got home, and so like. With the NBA, that off season is much easier you can take a month off and you still got 2 or 3 months of like, this is how I can get better. With Europe, it's like, it's a 9-month, 10-month season. And then by the time you take your R&R, see family and friends, take a little vacation, somebody calling your phone, training camp in a week and a half. So like, I think that's the most difficult part, but you gotta find time, make time, do the best you can, take care of your body.
One thing we kind of skipped over that I want to touch on before we get to paycheck rain check. You develop. I think you've always, even at Wisconsin, I've talked to Sam, and for I think one of the reasons y'all was so good, obviously Sam and Frank were good, but you as the first, second, third option on any given night, you was kind of like the Swiss Army knife, right? Like you can do a lot of things.
That's my nickname now. It's my first time I got a nickname. So Scotty gave me the nickname Swiss because he says, "Are you like a Swiss Army knife, bro?"
Play that 2 through 5.
I'm gonna roll with that nickname. I'm gonna roll with that nickname Swiss. I don't know how I'm gonna implement it yet, but like shout out Scotty.
Yeah. And when you talk to Scotty, tell him come pull up too on the podcast, man. We making friends of the pod, but no, yeah, you got this Swiss Army knife type of game, and I think mentality too, like just the way you talk about improving something every year. So I guess my question would be, when it comes to the NBA, do you think Denver's approach and just that approach in general towards basketball is better for the game, having less superstars and just a bunch of guys that fit together and some guys that can do everything, and you got maybe Jamal Murray and Jokic obviously, but just having guys that can less superstar oriented and a team aspect is better for the game and a better fit for playoff basketball?
I would say no, because superstars and talent wins, and we've seen that, throughout the course of, history of sports and just life period. Like all talent will prevail. It's not if you have just one good player and then a bunch of like towel holders and then you go against a team, of course you'll lose. But like in the NBA, you're looking at teams like superstars and talent, always triumphs and shines as light. And then the question becomes, well, what are we calling talent and superstars? Because obviously with Denver, Jokic is the back-to-back MVP, which means the last 2 years he's been the best player in the NBA, which means he's been the best basketball player on the planet 2 years in a row. And he's going for his third year trying to do a triple crown. And then you have Jamal Murray with the way he's been playing. And he just talked about in his interview after his last game, was like, how many times does he have to do this where people stop being surprised, like, oh my God, Jamal Murray did this. So he's commanding that. So it's a matter of perception of like, are we giving Denver the level of respect they deserve in terms of the players that they have? Why don't we consider them having two superstars in Jokic and Murray, and then they have really great pieces around them that fit? Because I think maybe it's just a name, maybe it's just a market. Because you could say the same thing about the Bucks when they won. They had Giannis, and then Chris Middleton was an all-star, and they have Drew, but that's not compared to the names. People don't like the other names on the team. Drew Holiday's always mentioned as one of the most underrated players in the NBA, so he automatically doesn't get the level of respect and star power that he deserves. So I think that is just a combination of you need at least two really bright stars on your team, and then you have to complement the way those two play. And then I think that's how you build the team out from there. And I think that Denver has done that. And but you can also trump that by just having all the talent in the world. So when the Warriors had KD, they had two stars, Steph and Clay, and they had a team built around the way they play. They added another bright star, and they walked through the championship. So talent, again, always wins. But I think Denver has the pieces they need to do that. And the way they play basketball and play through each other, it's going to be tough to beat them for sure.
I think just looking at history, I think the question is too, like, is two superstars enough, or is three too much? Because when you look at Brooklyn, they tried to go with three, and then people thought, like, I feel like I'm just talking about like general thought here, was like, okay, when the Celtics had the big three, that was a thing. Miami had like a big three, that was a thing. But over the course of history, it feels like to me that the more successful teams kind of had like two stars and then some really good pieces around them. When you look at like Kobe and Shaq in the Laker days, and just on down history, kind of like you said, Milwaukee. You look at Denver today, things of that nature. I think sometimes it's a little more difficult balancing three stars and not just talking about talent, but you're also talking about egos and chemistry and things of that nature as well.
I have a question, though, for you then, Anthony. What team had three stars that didn't win?
What the stars? Hold on. Stars or superstars? There's a difference.
What did you say? You said the team needs two superstars, right? Yeah. Is that what you said?
Because there's a difference between like there's levels, right, to star and
right?
Yeah, there's dozens of stars and like superstars, but going back, Boston didn't win it every year that they had the big three. You know what I'm
Who did they
saying?
lose? They lost to who did they lose? So they won it the
They
first year
lost
they were
to
together,
they
and then the
lost
next year
to
they lost to
either Orlando or Cleveland.
one of those LeBron teams,
Yeah,
right?
which was definitely not didn't have multiple stars. Neither did Orlando.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Bron didn't win it either because he didn't have enough. He had enough stars
And then
one team, but not.
and none of Kobe's teams had.
I don't even think
three stars.
I'll argue they didn't they had like Powell. Powell is he's like come on like Powell's good. Don't get it twisted. He's a what?
Star. For sure. He's for
But
sure a star.
The thing about Powell that is
star.
unique is that you got to see him with his own team and you got to see what that looked like. Like I'll say like a cat like Jamal Murray and even Clay. And like you never know, but you put them and they the best player on the team. Like I don't think that team is that good. So then it's like now you're questioning.
You think it's Devin Booker? You think it's like Devin
Right.
Booker?
So it's like Powell. We saw him in Memphis, and again, you could go to maybe they didn't build the right way around him and get into all that potentially. But Powell, I wouldn't say was he was a star because he was with Kobe too. Like his star grew when he got with Kobe.
I think that's 2 stars. Obviously, Kobe's a superstar, but that's 2 stars and a really good team around him.
Yeah, I'd see. Yeah.
Like we don't have to nitpick the superstar, but you have 2 stars and a great team around them.
Yeah, I say star and above. Like
Star and above. So you got the baseline star and above. They had 2 of those and a really good team around them, and they were able to win.
Okay, so thinking back, do you think 2 stars and above have won more than 3 stars?
Say that again. 2 more. Say it again.
Do you think 2 stars and above, 2 stars with a really good team, have won more than 3 stars in a good team in history?
No.
Yes. Well,
I would say no.
Yes.
You put 3 stars on a team, they usually win. The only reason Boston didn't win, not Boston, the Nets, the recent 3-star team was because
Miami only got 2.
Okay, but like let's look at Golden State before they had KD.
Nah, they only.
Yeah, they had 2.
That's 2 stars. That's 2 stars. That's 2 stars and above.
Yeah, they had 2 stars and above, and a fantastic team.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cleveland, 2 stars and above. Right.
They won 1.
With LeBron and Kyrie.
Yeah, they won 1, and they lost to a team that had 3 stars.
Okay, but that team that had 3 stars had 2 stars.
Yeah, that's why I said 3 stars. If you got 3 stars, it should be
It should be, but like I feel like there's always a team in the NBA with 3 stars.
Miami probably underachieved, right? LeBron's Miami, the Heatles or whatever, they probably underachieved.
Yeah, once they figured it out, though, they were.
San Antonio really had.
Yeah.
This is a.
What you
I was about to say they had. Listen, I love Tony Parker. That's
and David Robinson. That is 2 stars.
No. I'm talking about in 2014. That was. First of all, 2003 when they won with David Robinson was not 2 stars. That was 1 star. David Robinson barely played in 2003, fam. 99, I'll give you, but 2003, no. 2007, no.
His star was so bright from before that it had overshine.
yeah, rollover minutes.
He had rollover shine.
TP, okay. TP is he a star?
See, I would say this for the sake of the argument. If Tim Duncan's a star and you don't give Tony Parker and Manu, they fuse together and be another star. So that's 2 star tiers and above and a fantastic team.
Yeah, okay. So 2 stars beats 2 stars and a good team beats 3 stars.
I would say let's say out of 100 scenarios, I would say the 2 stars win 2 times.
2 times.
Well, I'm just thinking recently, like with the Warriors, they had 3 bona fide stars, and the whole season
the
we was like,
if we being for real, like you got to put Draymond in the star category at this point. regardless of what you think of his game. So they really have 4. That team is that's in my opinion. That team
They had 4, and then before KD got there, they was still 3. Then if you put Draymond, so
no,
KD,
because
Steph,
the one they won, I wouldn't have said Draymond was a star at that point.
He was an all-star though.
That was
when
like
they
his
were
first
winning those
all-star. Yeah,
championships.
when they won with Draymond, this is his first all-star.
It's in the name. All-star.
That's his first all-star. You got to be a star. Like that's what I'm saying. Levels like there's got to be something. If we put in some fake criteria on here, it's got to be at least 2, 3 all-stars before you become a star. Like you can't just get one and be I'm a star. Like
I think the easiest way to say, because we'll always, if we continue this discourse, we'll always find it an exception that doesn't make the rule. Right. But you need at least 2 to ever win. You can't win by yourself.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that's the easiest.
And to your point, I think you're right. I think Brooklyn would have won the finals that year if Kyrie and Harden didn't get hurt. Like,
and KD didn't wear a size 20.
Nah, they wasn't winning that game in overtime, fam.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, because he had a size 20 on. If he would have had a size 15 foot,
man, look,
that's a 3 instead of a 2.
Yeah, I guess. But look, what I'm gonna tell you is, as soon as Kyrie got hurt, Milwaukee was dominating that series anyway. So it was yeah. I ain't rolling with that one. But hey, man, let's get the paycheck rain check. We'll get you up out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna close it out. Paycheck, rain check. Somebody's paycheck is taking a rain check. And today's feature is Coach Ottoman. He signed over with Panathinaikos, and the question is, will Pana open up the budget now that Ottoman is there, and is Ephes Core staying or going?
That's for me to answer.
You the guess, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
As for me to answer, I don't know. I don't know anything about. Bro, look. This is what I'm gonna tell you. I don't know anything about basketball enough to know what Pana's gonna do because Ottoman's there. I've heard in the locker room just people talking about Pana's budget because I do know this, that when Pana was in the glory days with Obradovic, at one of those points they spent the most amount of money in EuroLeague history to form their team, and they won because of it. It was an absurd amount of money for European standards that they paid to form this team. So if they're going to do that again, because they've shown that they will with that family, the family that owns that team, they've shown that they will open the Brinks truck to build a team to win. So if they believe in this coach like they believed in Obradovic, to pay players, get players, and win, then I would say, yeah, the family history shows that they will bring the truck out and pay whatever they need to pay to get guys. And then as far as the core of Ephes, I don't know, man. You saw they said Mises changed his NBA representation, so maybe he's looking to go over to the NBA and see what that opportunity offers him. And if that happens, who knows? You know.
Man, I think they breaking up the band. It's over, man. Shane going to Pana. Everybody going to Pana. But I don't know either. I'm not Woj. That man said I'm not Woj. I don't know what the answer is, man. But
who's the Woj of EuroLeague?
He got no information. Yeah, I'm gonna start making stuff up, man.
It's just 3 songs.
Nigel Hayes-Davis.
Yeah, man. 2-year contract.
Yeah, man. Next thing you know, I'm a be in Pana. Watch. Rumor have it. rumor have it. Yeah.
Rumor have it.
Hey, you know what's crazy though? This is like a question just for like giggles, but you think you could do that if someone were to just tweet out a rumor of you going there? You think it would generate enough to where everyone would go, maybe we do need him?
Hey.
You think that can happen?
I don't know in Pana. I think definitely in certain situations, like, yeah. More so where there's like, if there's a lot of eyes on a situation, like say, I don't know, if you're an NBA player and you kind of pop, like Dylan Brooks right now, his name is popping. If he just tweeted out, oh, I'm going to Minnesota, like people would be like, so if the fans got behind it, I think you could really like force the situation. I think so because I think like obviously there's decision makers, but I think with decision makers there's like pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like when Zion was the #1 pick, but you know, let's say you needed a guard, like you still had to take Zion, even if you know you needed a point guard. You wasn't taking Ja because the pressure of if you don't take Zion, then so yeah. I think there's definite influence. Like Dylan Brooks might be a bad example, but I think there's definite influence that can be had.
I think the situation has to look sexy enough though. Like if you take a player that's in the Euro Cup final and let's just say Jordan Taylor, like London Lions in the Euro Cup final, they were eighth place when he first got there, and he was a difference maker. Then people start tweeting out stuff like, "Oh, I hear Ephes is close to signing him." Then it sounds believable, but I don't think you're just about to just drag somebody's name from Germany, you know what I mean, and just say he's close to signing here.
Like
what?
Like Dwayne Bacon last summer.
Like
Dwayne Bacon probably could have got away with somewhere, like someone tweeting some stuff out and people was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
But listen, man, that's all we got for you. Before we sign off, y'all be sure to check us out on Spotify or Apple Music, anywhere you get your podcasts, as I mentioned earlier, or follow along on all social media, YouTube, IG, TikTok, and Twitter with the handle @RolePlayerMedia, or on Swish Culture's YouTube page. Nigel Hayes-Davis, we appreciate you joining us, man, showing a lot of love, pulling up to the Role Player Podcast. Good luck to you this week against Olympiacos. We hope y'all come out with the dub, man, and we would love to have you back on. You need to go start that vlog, too, with you traveling on off days, man, if you haven't already.
I really do. See, I have a videographer in Istanbul, but the Turkish passport isn't sexy. You can't travel to many countries with it. So he's working on a visa. But I do need a vlog because, it's a lot of action, bro. You just got to come on a trip. Like, let me know when your next off day is, and we'll coordinate, and we'll go on the trip. Or I'll just pull up on London, and I'll just show you how it goes. Because it's a lot. People think it's easy to travel. Like, it's hard to see 20 of a city's and a country's greatest tourist attractions in one day. It's a lot of steps we put in. We log in miles
too, right? Yeah, do a little plan, or are you letting the tour guide do the planning?
No, there's no planning, and that's why it always goes great. I don't plan anything. Like, I show up and either I find a tour guide or I have I met this lady from Dublin. I was Googling Dublin tour guides. She has this concierge service, so I'll text her and she'll just hey, I found a tour guide in Paris for you, or I found one in Bulgaria, I found one in Bucharest for you, and she'll send them to me, and she'll do that. Or I'll just show up and I'll just be like, the hotel concierge do you have a tour guide? And they'll go, oh yeah, this guy actually just got back today, perfect time. Everything on my trips is always divine timing, and everything goes absolutely perfect. I don't know how, but I guess I'm just living right, but everything's always perfect.
When you get that videographer right, man, either sell it, have EuroLeague start showing that, man. That's good content to build up popularity for the league, I think. Or, we put on the Role Player page, man.
I've been trying to do that. It's so hard to do the stuff with EuroLeague. I was asking them to be mic'd up during the game, and it's just so hard to get stuff like that going. And EuroLeague wants to do it, but then they have to check with because it's international and these companies, blah blah blah. It's just so much stuff that needs to be figured out. But the content creation is I have the ideas. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to do it, my guy. Any means necessary, I'm trying to, man.
Beautiful. Well, you're going to get it, man. Y'all catch us next time, man. We appreciate you tuning in, yo.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all.
Oh, my gosh. Also, one last thing. Get the Harana hot dog tray at HaranaUS.com. I'm trying to be like George Foreman. I don't even eat hot dogs, but this will make your hot dogs and your buns great. So go ahead, HaranaUS.com. Get you a grill and tray.
Spell it out.
4th of July camping, college.
Spell it out. All of that. Spell it out for me.
HaranaUS.com. HaranaUS.com. Get you a grill and tray. Support black businesses. Support people that like hot dogs. Support tailgating, 4th of July, cookouts. Use on the golf course, camping, all of that.
Vegan owned. Vegan and black owned. Vegan and black owned.
You must stay focused, my brother. Okay? You must stay focused.
Dr. Umar, we appreciate you, man.
Thanks so much, man.
No doubt.